agos ng ating lipunan.
Walang higit na magmamalasakit sa mga marino, kundi kapwa marino.
Gabay ng Pamilyang Marino. Tuwing Sabado, alas 4:30 hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Dito sa Radyo Inquirer 990 AM. Gabay ng Pamilyang Marino. Ito po ang Trans Radio Broadcasting Corporation. Radyo Inquirer 990 AM. Kasapi ng KBP. Naglilingkod, nagbabalita, may paninindigan. Radyo Inquirer 990 AM.
Oras 5 minuto makalipas ang alas 10 ng umaga.
Para sa may init na balita, Victory in Governance and Technology through Information Network. Bigatin. Para sa mga napapanahong usapan, Victory in Governance and Technology through Information Network. Bigatin. Makinig at makisalo sa programang Siksik sa Impormasyon at Bigatin sa Kaalaman. Kasama ang inyong mga kabarkada na sina Den Macaranas, Arnie Barcelo, Angel Bonifacio at Ellison Barcelo. Bigatin Radio. Sa Bigatin, bigatin ka talaga!
Bigatin sa Radio Inquirer 990 AM. Magandang morning! Welcome sa Bigatin!
Ang galing mo naman!
Good morning, Philippines! Isang araw naman po ng Sabado. Ngayon po ay February 28, 2015. Pinakahuling araw sa buwan ng Pebrero. At welcome po sa isa namang edisyon ng programang Bigatin. Pangalan po ni Den Macaranas. Ako po ang inyong mga kasama, Alvin Barcelona. Siyempre, kumpleto ang barkada. Pabatiin mo natin si Arnie. Arnie, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Alvin. Good morning sa ating mga tagapakinig, ang ating mga kabigatin. Ngayong araw ng Sabado, 28 na. Feb 28. Yes.
Good morning.
Ayan.
Subukan mo ulit.
Good morning.
Ayan.
Sira yata yan eh.
Si Ellison.
Lipat ka ng mic na. Yung isa. Ayan. Ayan, habang inaayos yung mic ni
Yes, good morning.
Ayan, good morning.
Sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig, sa aking mga OJTs and sa mga empleyado namin, and also sa family ko, good morning.
Ayan. Morning.
Pwede ba ako, Alvin, bumalik sa akin? Babatiin ko lang aking mga kapatid kasi kinasal yung aking sister kahapon.
Oy, congratulations.
Yes.
Best wishes.
Yes, yung aking mga kamag-anak from Bicol, nagpuntahan dito, from Cebu, from Batangas, lahat na. Ayun. So, best wishes. So, ayan, sa mga estudyante ko na nakikinig, sa aking mga
dapat makinig sila, kasi may phone touch tayo kay...
Oo, from the Faculty of Engineering of University of Santo Tomas. So, kung hindi daw po sila makakapakinig ngayon dahil may class, so live, meron po tayong recorded stream. So, magpa-podcast po kami.
Ayun. Nakahanda na ba yung mga tanong mo mamaya kay Mr. Dado?
Ay, oo, matagal na. Nung una pa lang kaming nagkita, marami na akong tanong sa kanya.
May phone patch tayo mamaya sa Cebu eh.
Sige, sino ba mga guest natin ngayon? Studio tsaka yung phone patch?
Yes, ano mo na ma'am? Introduce mo na si
Yes, so live here in the studio, we have here Miko Lizardo, the founder of Q Mobile Car Wash. Hi Miko.
Good morning. Good morning po ma'am. Good morning po sa mga listeners po.
So, welcome.
We're happy to be here.
Yes, masaya dito Miko. So mamaya pag-uusapan natin ng tungkol dito sa Q Mobile. Q Mobile Car Wash. So let's see ano yung idea.
Q Mobile Car Wash.
And then later on, Alvin, we have Dado. Dado Banataw. Nako, exciting tong kwento ni Dado. Ayun.
Sino ba si Dado? Anong niya? Saan siya affiliated?
Ganito yon. So, mag-i-intro na ako sa mga nakikinig sa atin. So, si Dado, ang lagi kong naalala sa kanya, para sabi niya, yung chest niya, sabi niya, you know what, I just came from a poor family and somehow I just escaped. So, si Dado ay nasa field ng engineering at kilala siya sa paggawa ng mga sa motherboard. Sa
Motherboard,
computer,
sa
sa
computer.
chipset, yes. So college pa lang siya noon nung nag-aral siya sa Mapua. So nasa field siya ng engineering and then dun siya nakilala. So syempre dahil dun sa innovation na yon, sa invention niya na yon, na dun siya nakilala, napunta siya malamang at dahil doon sa Silicon Valley.
Ayan.
Yes.
Aba, from rags to riches pala si
Yes.
Dado.
So,
Patikim lang yan kung ano yung sino yung guest natin mamaya. At marami pa siyang i-share sa inyo, siguro success story.
Ay, sobrang success story po
Ano
ito.
yung experience niya from nag-start siya hanggang ngayon na he's very successful sa Silicon Valley. Ayan.
So mamaya pag-uusapan natin about him, about siguro sa kanyang childhood and yung college days, yung kanyang innovation, yung kanyang pagiging entrepreneur, ang kanyang pagiging investor, mentor, what else? Madami pa tayo. At saka yung ano kayang tingin niya sa kabataan ngayon and why is he doing this and ano kaya ang gusto niyang mangyari sa Pilipinas.
Ayan. Sige,
Ayan.
mamaya natin yan. Tanong natin sa kanya once ma-air natin.
Yes.
In the meantime, ayan, sino bang natin? Sino bang kakausapin natin ngayon?
Si Miko muna.
Si Miko muna. Ayan.
So Miko, ano ba itong Q Mobile Car Wash?
Ma'am, EQ Mobile Car Wash, it's a door-to-door mobile car wash.
Yeah. Wow.
Meaning, it's home service po siya. So basically, yung car wash is at your fingertips. You call us, may people will come to you.
Okay.
So we provide car cleaning services kung saan ka po nakatira, saan ka po nagtatrabaho.
So
Para
yung-
hindi ka na po kailangan lumabas pa, mag-drive, sa traffic, tapos pumila ho.
Wow, Miko. Pwede ko matanong, ilang taon ka na, Miko?
26 po.
Wow. So, ano naisip mo? Bakit gusto mo magtayo ng startup ng Q Mobile Car Wash?
To start, ma'am, kasi I always wanted to put up a car wash ever since.
Yeah.
Ano
Kasi
ba yan?
galing rin yun sa hilig ko rin sa sasakyan. So,
Sasakyan.
Oo.
Ibig sabihin,
So,
do you have any experience o in terms of business o may yung pamilya mo ba may business na ganyan o sarili mo lang sa yung sariling sasakyan experience mo?
sarili ko ho to, sir.
Ganun. So yan yung naisip mo na na startup.
Yes.
So ano bang tawag dito? How did you come up with the concept? Meron kasi ako hindi familiar Arnie doon sa
kanyang Q Mobile.
ano ba yan? Kailangan itatawag sa iyo o merong app na gagamitin ka sa mobile?
For now, sir, tawag pa lang.
Tawag. Ayun.
Tawag pa lang, tapos reservation sa Facebook or sa our online Instagram. Tapos we get phone calls from there.
Wow. Nag-start ka na ba na gamitin to or gawin yung business mo?
Yes, ma'am, it's ongoing.
So-
I've been in the business for 8 months now.
Good. So, how is it so far?
It's pretty good. It's actually it's a growing business lang talaga since you need contacts, you need people. So it's
How many moving units do you have right now? Ibig sabihin ilang
Ilang
mga
units na?
ilang available na mobile car wash yung kaya mo dispatch?
actually, sir, it's imagine po motorcycle kasi siya eh.
Okay. Motorcycle.
So
na
as of
gamit.
now, isa pa lang, sir.
Isa pa lang.
So, sabi, may mobile app na ba? Wala pa?
Wala pa.
Yung online pa lang in the
Online
Facebook.
pa lang.
So, will you explain more on how you are planning to do the mobile app? How will you design it?
Well, actually, it's a long-term goal ko talaga yun. It's app kasi yun, kung iisipin mo, wala pang car wash na nasa app eh.
Yes.
So, if ever, pupunahan ko. Like, imagine if you have, like, everyone now has a smartphone. So, I'm sure, kung sino man may smartphone, I'm sure, like, they have cars as well.
Yes.
So, imagine the convenience of having to reserve a car wash using your app.
Oo nga, kasi di ba, Miko, halimbawa ako, nasa ganitong, nasa Inquirer ako, no? Nasa Radyo Inquirer ako, nag-park ako dito, wala naman akong gagawin, magra-radyo ako from 10 to 11. So, tatawagin lang kita, paki-car wash ako for yung aking car.
Yes, exactly.
For 10 to
Ganun
11.
po.
No? So, kahit saan ako napunta, pwede, ano anong scope ng iyong business?
Well, right now, as of now, is Taguig area pa lang. Because I'm from Taguig.
Okay.
Like for the BGC area.
Paano mo, nung naisip mo to, may investor ka ba? Kasama mo ba ang pamilya mo dito? So, may coach ka ba?
Wala po, ma'am. Yes, sarili kong ano po.
Ayan. So, mamaya, Miko, we will be talking with Mr. Dado Banatao. Talagang ito ay may kwento din, ano? Siguro makaka-relate ka sa kanyang kwento, no? Kung paano din siya nag-start at paano siya naniwala na kaya talaga, no?
Ayun.
So, live na ba si Dado?
Tinatawagan pa yata. Tinatawagan pa.
No?
Anyway, may tanong ako kay ano. Ano yan? Yung the money you started with para sa business mo, ano yan? Sarili mong pera or you got help from your parents? Paano
sarili ko rin po, sir. I was employed also for 3 years. So, yan. Konting ipon ho. Yes, ipon ho. Tapos,
if you don't mind us asking, magkano yung startup na investment mo?
Hindi naman, sir, ganun kalaki.
Hindi ka nakalaki. And saan ka nag-invest bukod doon sa motor? Ano yung mga gamit na talagang binili mo para dito sa business mo?
Actually, sir, it's based on solutions lang. Solutions lang sa chemicals, tapos mga equipments. And yun nga, yung motorcycle, and the next are yung tao na, yung mga tauhan ko na.
Tao na.
Yeah.
And siyempre, di ba, car wash, mayroong hose, may makina ka ba ginagamit para doon sa paglilinis?
No, ito, sir, kasi itong concept ko is waterless.
Waterless?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a waterless car wash.
Oh, yeah.
So the term waterless is also called a chemical car wash.
Okay, sige.
Ayan. So, Miko, we'll get back to you later.
Okay.
Ayan. So, live na si Dado.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good morning, Dado. Magandang umaga. Galing dito from Inquirer sa Makati, papunta dyan sa Visayas, sa San Carlos University. Hello?
Right. Can you speak louder or raise your volume there? Because it's very faint.
Sige. Okay na ba? Hello? Good morning, Dado.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, good morning po. This is Marcelo na nagbigatit. Yes, may mga tanong. Ready na po kaming questions right now.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Mahala. Ayan. So,
okay. Are you near a landline at all?
Hindi daw
Do you have a landline?
No, I'm in a building here.
But are we clear, sir? Ayan po, malakas po.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Malinaw
this
po
is
ba?
a stronger signal, but the voice is garbled. There's a lot of noise.
Okay. Hindi gaano clear.
Can you hear us right now, sir?
Ayan.
You are the man voice is garbled up. The female is clearer.
Okay.
Okay.
Si Arnie na lang siguro yung mga natin.
Sir, si Arnie Barcelo po ito, si Professor Arnie Barcelo from the University of Santo Tomas, Faculty of Engineering. So, I attended the press conference and the MOU signing at the UP Diliman.
Okay.
Yes, so marami po kaming questions. So, if I would describe you, so based from what I researched, so you are the innovator, the entrepreneur, the Silicon Valley visionary. So, we will be discussing more on your life or yung bakit mo po ito ginagawa, ano po ba itong field dev, ano po ba ang pagiging entrepreneur, and ano ba ito para sa Pilipinas. So let's start, sir. Kumustahin po muna namin kayo dyan sa San Carlos. Ano po ba ang meron dyan ngayon? Hello?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you ask the question again?
Yeah. Ano po ang meron tayo ngayon sa San Carlos University para po sa ating mga tagapakinig?
I think you need to slow down your question
I'm
because
sorry.
you're talking so fast.
Okay, sir.
Sige po. Slow down. Okay, go ahead.
So currently, today, sir, we have the field dev, the IDEA workshop at San Carlos University, right? Hello,
yes,
sir.
We are doing the workshops here at
Opo.
University of San Carlos in Cebu.
Yes. Kumusta naman po ang pangalawang araw ng ating workshop with San Carlos University?
Well, it's going along. Right now, we are working on one of the exercises that the teachers, the lecturers assigned them. So I'm helping one of the groups here. Yeah, but it's It's going very, very well. In fact, I would venture to say it is better than last year. But I guess 1 year of experience is making an impact.
Ayan. Sige sir, marami po bang nakarating? So, sino-sino po bang mga participants natin sa workshop na ito?
Yeah, hang on just a second.
Yeah.
The question is, marami pong dumating or the participants universities. I'll give you Emil to describe.
Yeah. So, is Emil there? Hi, Emil. Good morning. Kumusta?
Hi, Emil. Professor Arning.
Yes. Good. So, kumusta po ang participation? So, the participation of the universities in the Visayas region. So, how was it?
It was very good. Actually, we have the IDEA workshop is actually intended for the Visayas and Mindanao universities. So we have participants from as far as Boanga, Cagayan de Oro, Iloilo, not just people from Cebu. So far, for the IDEA workshop alone, we have 245 participants for the workshop. But for the symposium 2 days ago, we had 598 total.
Yep.
So that's a lot.
Ito, Emil and Dado, we have collected questions here from the Manila, no, ang ating mga community here in the startup dito sa ating Manila naman, no, ang ating mga kaibigan dito. We have here question for Dado. So umpisahan ko na kasi madami-dami ito. So nandiyan na ba si Dado? Ayan. So this question from
Professor Arnie, that is here. So the details of the symposium and workshop I could answer, but if for anything related to entrepreneurship in general, I could pass it over to Anu.
Yes, okay.
So go ahead.
Good. Okay.
Right, what the first question is?
Yeah, question from Joji Azarin. Joji, Founders Institute and freelancer, the horsepower.ph. So from Joji, so the question is, given your background and domain expertise, it is understandable that you have invested mostly electronic companies. Do you now the question, do you plan to invest outside of these areas such as e-commerce, mobile apps, and etc.?
Okay, give me a few seconds. I'll pass the phone to him, okay?
Yeah.
Yan, pinapasa pa.
Yes, kasi yung signal malamang. Kasi medyo malabo.
Medyo malayo kasi.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me clarify. I would say 99% of investors like me focus on specific areas of their interest first, and to some degree their expertise. But the interests differ from one investor to the next. I happen to be much more excited in systems products, big systems, and semiconductors, and so on. Now, understanding that within the big systems, we deal with a lot of software also. Another way to put it is that I do not invest in things like mobile applications, which is, of course, it's a well-known interest here in the Philippines. And so I invest mostly in those areas, semiconductors and computing and communication systems.
Ayan. So maybe Joji is planning to get you as a mentor and one of investors in mobile app and e-commerce. Ayan. So we have here another.
No, we can advise things in innovation and entrepreneurship, because the principles of those two is similar depending on the product. I mean, it doesn't matter the product. The principles of innovation and entrepreneurship are all similar.
Yep.
It's just that your question relates to my investment and I'm specific.
Yep.
But entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship, and we can teach that to any of the expertise areas, whether it's software, hardware, and so on.
Nag-iiba lang siya sa domain, ano? So, another question, Dado. So, this is from Earl Valencia of Idea Space. Yes. Okay. What are the most impressive startup concepts that you have seen in your trip this year that can compete in a global scale?
Okay, ask the question again.
What are the most impressive startup concepts that you have seen in your trip this year and can compete in a global space? So,
Sure.
Yep.
So far, what I have seen are mostly a lot of mobile apps. I have not seen any innovation in, well, although I expected it, I don't think they can do semiconductors here. There's no expertise. Systems, big systems, they don't do that here. That's all bought from the outside. What I have seen is the interest in this new generation of potential entrepreneurs.
Yep.
A lot of it in mobile apps, also gaming, and potentially enterprise software. Enterprise meaning companies, big and medium-sized companies. Hello?
Yes, sir. We're here.
Oh, okay.
Again.
So far, what we have seen, and this is not only, hang on, just a second.
Yep. Ayan, no?
Okay. That was I think they're calling students to classroom. Okay.
So it's up.
It is fairly one-dimensional for now because of the level of, I would say, competitive capability in starting from the school system. Software is fairly one-dimensional. You think of an application, you can write the code, and we have that expertise here. Beyond that, however, we are severely lacking in capabilities, both at the university level and in the industry. So, but I've seen some real, I would say, interesting applications that the students are thinking about. So it's unfortunately it's one-dimensional, and that's precisely what some of the programs of PhilDev are working on with the government, research and engineering curriculum.
Okay, so we'll take note on that. No? So another one, madami pa po. So let's have this one. What are the most notable Philippine startups that has caught your attention, if there is?
The most notable startup.
Simpies.
There is this little startup for now started by two ladies.
Yeah. Simpies.
Using platforms similar to Facebook.
Yep.
And then they can actually also put their product on the Facebook platform. What it is, it's a very directed social app that is very, I would say, applicable to a lot of people. And it leverages their knowledge, the founders, their knowledge in psychology. And usually successful companies are generally those that can innovate combining two disciplines.
Yep.
In their case, they're combining the mobile space, meaning using mobile platforms, with psychology, and that's fairly unique. And we've been advising them, and I think that they have a lot of potential.
Yes. So
far, that's the only thing that I've seen. Keeping in mind that I do not usually come here and survey the industry, so I'm sure my database is lacking, but because I don't purposely do it. But of course, I meet with quite a bit of potential entrepreneurs and industry people, and so I do have some exposure, although it is not comprehensive. But this one is the one that I've seen that is unique.
Yes, so we can mention the name, the Simpies of Marga, Adan, and Maiko Hanko. So we can.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So last we have here. Yes, a couple of questions we have here. What are the three most important issues that the local technology business should address? Technology business.
The issues that the technology business should address. Let me paraphrase your question.
Yeah.
if I understand it, your question is about what, I look at it as an opportunity, the way you asked it.
Yeah.
What are the potential markets that the technology business can address?
Yep.
Is that what you mean by issues, the potential markets for them?
Yep.
Or their problems in development?
Okay, can
we have
can we have first the problem in development?
We have severe problems in technology development.
Okay.
As I said earlier, our university system is severely lacking in competitiveness globally. We just simply cannot compete today.
Okay.
We lack the experts that is necessary to compete globally, and frankly, that's what PhilDev is also focusing on, working with the government and academia. We need to transform our technology development infrastructure, starting with the university system. Hang on.
Okay. No.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Did you get my answer there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, I am synthesizing. I am processing what you have said. Anyway, so please go on.
Okay.
Hello. And then another question is, how do you see the technology business in the Philippines in 5 years' time?
I would say, again, to qualify your technology business, there are all kinds of technology businesses. One would be those who are reselling products from the outside. For example, selling mobile phones, selling computers, and so on. Or are you referring to the creation of products in the Philippines, technology products? Which one are you asking for?
Let's go for the creation of the product.
Hello?
Yeah, creation of the product.
Hello?
Or the services.
Hello?
Yes, creation of the services. Let's talk more about
Okay, the services for technology products, right? Is that or okay? You're not talking about plain BPO, are you?
No, just go on. Just yeah.
Hello.
Maybe we can have the creation of the services first, and then the technology. So just go on, Dado.
Yeah, the services of using technology for the business has been going on for some time, and that's generally what we call the BPO category, business practices, and so on. So that's doing okay, I think. Understanding that we have a lot of college graduates doing things that they should not do. Actually, if they went into engineering, that's not a good job for them, because that can be done by, I would say, students not necessarily coming from engineering. So that's the only negative part that I would say on that.
Okay.
But it creates jobs and so on. The other side of coming up with or doing the merchandising of products coming from outside the Philippines is clearly very successful. Selling products that outside manufacturers, when I say outside our country, products from Japan, Korea, US, European. Sure, we are capable in selling those things, but we don't make much money.
Okay.
The extreme side of technology products that are designed here, it is so few that I would say I would not even qualify it as something that I would consider in the successful category, because it is unfair to say that it is a failure or a success, because there's really nothing, frankly.
Okay. So last question from Georgie. So how should the government respond and catch up with the fast-growing startup technology sector?
That's an excellent question, because that is something that PhilDev has been working on for years now, since the last administration, GMA. And we continue to work with the current administration. But we need to train globally competitive engineers, scientists and engineers in our universities.
Okay.
And frankly, that's one of the programs that we at FieldDev have been working on with them for quite a while now. But, to catch up, we need to produce as many globally competitive scientists and engineers in our school system, engineering, science, and so on, because we are severely lacking. And so we cannot innovate and we cannot compete unless we produce these experts. One way that we looked at it was that we need to have foreign intervention in that area of training, because for the longest time we are training a lot of engineers, but frankly it is propagating mediocrity.
Okay.
That's why we cannot compete. In terms of numbers of engineers, we have incredible numbers. But the problem is that we cannot even create technology products on our own. So the government, rightfully so, has been listening to us, and luckily they're spending a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, from generating PhDs and masters in engineering to doing, we're about to set up the research institutes necessary for our professors to research, because that's the only way they can improve their teaching. We have a very, very low percentage of professors in engineering that has PhDs. And even those that have PhDs, they are not doing research, and so their knowledge in technology is just, I would say, not progressing, and therefore they would be out of the contention. So setting up research institutes is so important for them, and also for our PhD students to do research on. So as you can see, the government is helping. We push them. We fought and so on, because they have the biggest leverage. They alone have the money. The issue, of course, is that we have a lot of private universities graduating engineers. The same thing happens. The professors are not competitive enough because 95% of them have no real, I would say, research background or PhD and so on. And what amazes me is that these private universities are very profitable. They hardly spend money in excellence for their teachers. And I give them this merit. So this problem is so multidimensional, unfortunately. But as long as I am alive, this is my battle cry. This is my call for action to everyone, government, academe, students, and so on. It is, for whatever reason, in the last 30 years, our government and academe just forgot the fundamentals of developing a country, developing the economy. It's massive. And I wish there are 100 FieldDevs out there, and maybe our task at FieldDev will be so much easier, but no one else. That's the other thing. I mean, everyone complains about government and universities, but they don't do any work at all. FieldDev stands out as the only one that's trying to push this agenda. And luckily the government listens. The next target would be industry. Their time will come that we will be facing them face to face on these issues, because they need to contribute.
Question, sir. Hello?
Yeah.
About my and Marga. How is that you are decided to mentor them?
Hello.
Yes.
Hang on just a second. Okay, please ask the question again.
Hello. Yes, Dado. So what made you decide to mentor Marga and Maymay?
Well, first of all,
they're so makulit daw.
What I've seen with Mai and Marga is that they are a typical entrepreneur. They do not stop when there's any obstacle. They just insert themselves to get an answer to their question or a situation that they need help on. I mean, and that's the spirit of an entrepreneur. You don't, basically, the way I describe it is that you
Yeah, so
you die first before you give up.
Okay.
And they have that trait of all entrepreneurs that we have come in contact with. So there's another group that I've been mentoring for some time. They don't give up either. But that's the first quality of a true entrepreneur. There is an obstacle, you go take the obstacle away. It doesn't matter how you do it.
Yeah, so
relentless. And that's a good trait, and that's why we're helping them. I mean, we could mentor a lot of entrepreneurs, frankly, but they need to show up. You cannot mentor them unless they show up.
Okay.
Ayun. So, Dado, one last question from the students. Why are you doing this? Actually, you have answered this earlier, but why are you doing this? How do you feel about your advocacies, what you're doing?
Okay. I am doing this because, number one, I am Filipino.
Yes.
Okay.
I may have lived way longer than, in the U.S. than in the Philippines, like twice longer in the U.S. Number one, I cannot forget the fact that I am Filipino and this is where I come from. This is where I was originally educated. Number two, and as important, is that I come from very humble beginnings. And somehow I escaped that environment of being a poor family. My father was a farmer. And I was able to get to an area like the U.S. and Silicon Valley. And took advantage of the environment, and one thing led to the other. Now I can afford to help. Helping is a very expensive proposition, very tough, very expensive. Unless you have the means, I claim helping is very minor. So that's why we can tackle the biggest problems that we think are the root cause of economic development.
Yeah.
I will not you how much effort and finances goes into this, but it is huge. And so, let's say it, I can afford to do this.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can do what I do. But as long as there are 1 million plus kids out there in the countryside that deserve to do the things that I did, we will keep on doing this. The country deserves this kind of help. Government, education, and a lot of other rich people should do this. And in one talk that I gave, someone in the audience asked me, "So, Dado, why do you do this?" And frankly, I was insulted. So my answer was, the only way for you to understand what I do is you match what I do. Then you will answer your own question. I wish there are a lot of rich people here in the Philippines that do what I do. And then maybe we can solve our problem faster.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's my humble beginnings. My father was a farmer. We were a poor family.
Okay.
So that's why I do these things.
Any plans
because
to
there
enter
are so many
politics?
Opportunities. Sorry?
Do you have any plans to enter politics?
Oh, no. I don't have I've been asked that question so many times. Frankly, I think I can do better by being an individual outside. As long as people recognize what I do as something that is pure rather than a self-interest. That person who asked me, "Hey, why are you doing this? What's in it for you?" I was insulted. But if there's something that I will take advantage now. That's why I answered him. The only way that you can understand what I do is you try to match what I do. Then you will understand what I do.
Yeah.
But no, that's the last thing in my mind.
Yeah, we understand, no? Alam, mahirap ang politika. Anyway, Dado, so, this day has been, a very remarkable
I know
day.
you are so busy and we're really lucky and honored to interview you.
Yeah, to have you today. So
thank you very much for
being
that.
I think I can make Phildev, led by me, will make a much better impact if we are independent, away from government, away from all kinds of things that get in the way, that people think I am biased or I am taking advantage of anything. That's why we're very careful that we are spending our own resources.
Okay.
Ayun, nako. Basta Dado, maraming salamat.
Mabuhay po kayo, Sir Dado.
Dado.
At sana...
Thank you. You're welcome.
Sana
You're
dumami pa po ang maraming Dado, Mr.
Yeah.
Dado Banataw dito sa Pilipinas. We're helping talaga the startup community and the academe talaga.
That's
Maraming salamat po.
We want... Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Sige, ayan na.
Yan. Palagay ko tayo lang yung radio program na nakapag-interview.
Oh my gosh.
Kasi Vin, nakabase siya sa Silicon Valley. Siya yung tawag ba natin sa kanya? Father of motherboard.
Father of motherboard.
Siya yung nag-invento ng chipset ng motherboard. Di ba? Ang net worth niya right now, hindi ako nagkakamali, $6 billion. Ganun siya kayaman. Pero simpleng tao.
Napaka down to earth.
Down to earth.
Nako, hanggang ngayon, ano pa rin ako.
Simpleng damit o nakita natin, di ba?
Tsaka talaga.
Saka hindi siya tumitigil talaga na tumutulong talaga sa startup community.
And yung words of encouragement niya to fellow entrepreneurships.
Hanggang ngayon.
Ang sa akin doon yung sinabi niya, kasi Pilipino ko. Yun ang nakalimutan.
Babalik talaga siya sa Pilipinas.
Although, mas matagal lang inilagi niya sa Amerika, talagang ang pinagdidiinan niya Pilipino at gusto niyang tumulong sa Pilipinas.
At sana dumami pa raw sila na katulad niya, di ba?
I-clone ko na nga si Dado Gagawa ako ng technology.
Kasi actually, pwede na siyang manahimik na lang Yes. Diba? Pwede siyang... Wala, doon na lang siya sa States. Tapos, low profile na lang. Hindi na lang siya makialam sa mga ganito. Pero hindi niya matiis bilang isang Pilipino. Hindi niya matiis talaga na merong kakulangan yung mga universities natin. Yun ang battle cry niya kulang yung mga professors sa sa expertise and experience.
Totoo naman talaga yun.
Yun ang malaking problem paano mariresolve. Pero kinakailangan pa rin siyempre ng intervention ng mga government agencies.
Yeah.
Hindi kaya ni Dado na siya lang or ng PhilDev. Hindi kaya ng UST lang or ng mga talaga mga NGOs pa, di ba? Or LGUs palagay na natin. Kailangan talaga ng nung mismong gobyerno dapat mag-concentrate kung paano. Kaya ayaw siya mag-invest sa sa mga mobile apps. Gusto niya sa mga semiconductors. Kasi mas sigurado yung pera pagka nagkaroon ng demand. Hindi siya yung tipong pasay lang na uso tapos after how many months laos na, di ba? Sa kanya, how many years, di ba? Nandun pa rin. Up to now, may royalty pa rin siya natatanggap. Siguro, yun yung pananaw niya, kaya dun siya mas more nag-invest. Or, sila Marga and Maymay naman,
mobile app yun.
Pero, sino ba hindi makakatanggi ron, di ba? Hindi ka kilala, sinulatan ka ninemail ka ng 20 times, hinahanap ka sa buong Pilipinas kung nasaan ka, di ba? In-stock ka talagang inistorbo ka, di ba? Pero hindi nag-give up.
Yeah.
Kaya hindi na lang siya siguro makahindi. Kumbaga sa para ka nanligaw sa babae na hindi ka gagwapuhan, pero dahil sa katagalan ng panliligaw mo, sa'yo na rin bumaksak, di ba? Parang gano'n. Because we are really happy and honored talaga na at least na-interview natin si Mr. Dado
hanggang
Banataw.
ngayon, di pa ako ma-compose kasi na-interview ko si Dado Banataw.
At hindi ganun kadali ma-interview si Mr. Dado Banataw.
Yes, oo. Kahit malabo yung line, talagang nakikinig ako sa
diba?
kanya.
Pinagtiyagaan niya talaga na makipag-usap sa atin and to share his views, di ba? Ano yung mga pananaw niya, ano yung kailangan ng gobyerno, kahit na medyo tinamaan yung gobyerno, okay lang sa kanya, kahit na medyo ginambol niya yung parang sinisita niya yung gobyerno saka yung academe natin. Bakit ganito?
Oh my gosh. Napaka-striking ng mga sinabi niya na nakikinig lang talaga ako.
Na-transcribe ko yan para at least mabasa natin at ma-share natin sa iba.
Yes. So, i-vlog ko yan later. So, magsusulat ako.
At least ikaw, Miko, di ba? Karoon ka na inspirasyon.
Yes.
Na malay mo.
Gabi yung words of inspiration, yung encouragement niya.
Grabe yung dating talaga.
To a startup.
Kasi sinasabi niya nun, naglalakad lang siya from school.
Oo.
Diba? Isa kasi farmer lang yung father niya. Talaga sa Tugigaraw. Talaga nagsumikap lang talaga siya. Ayun, tapos, yun na nga, history na lang, naging mayaman, tapos naging bilyonaryo, tapos low profile pa rin. Encourage niya talaga yung Ched nga. Kasi nagkaroon ng MOU memorandum of understanding, yung CHED, na magtuturo ng entrepreneurship. Sana masimulan. Kaya sabi niya, yung resulta nun is 5 years from now, which is matagal pa rin. Kaya hinihiling natin nga, ma'am, sabi ko nga, paano sila magtuturo kung hindi nga sila entrepreneurs. Dapat magkaroon din sila ng mga professors na negosyante para at least may share nila. Diba? Na pinagdaanan nila ano ba talaga. Mahirap kasi magkwento kung hindi talaga.
Para siyang,
sana ma-share mo sa lahat ng students mo. Sana magkaroon pa ng maraming dado, no?
Oo. Yun ang hope.
Marami tayong mayaman pero bihira lang yung katulad ni Dado na bumabalik, di ba? Na talagang yung focus niya, di ba? Turuan yung ang daming engineers na gumagraduate. Pero walang masyado talagang nakikilala ng engineers na na-invento ko to. Pagka-graduate ko ng engineer, sana ko papasok? Magkano yung sweldo ko? Sa kanya gusto niya, dapat magnegosyo ka, di ba? Dapat yung isang engineer, isipin mo kung anong technology ang mangyayari 30 years from now. Yun eh. Pagka nakapag-produce na tayo ng ganong klaseng mga utak, di ba? Yung mga ganong klaseng mag-isip. Ano ba yung mga technology? Iisip ko yung mami. Ano ba yung technology mula ngayon, 30 years from now? Anong technology, anong klaseng semiconductor yung meron? Ngayon natin gawin para after 30 years, putok tayo. Kaya lang wala nag-iisip ng gano'n. Ang iniisip natin, ano meron? Sige, kopyahin natin.
Yan yung sinasabi ni Dado, no, na kulang daw. Anyway, Dado, sabi niya kanina, parang he puts the challenge on us.
Lalo na sa inyo, ma'am, mga professors.
Kaya diba, nga, talagang
parang kinatatamaan yung mga, parang kulang na lang sabihin niya, kulang kayo sa diskarte, mga professors. Kulang kayo sa diskarte, kulang kayo sa pagtuturo. At walang suporta ng gobyerno para talagang maturuan pa yung mga professors. Na magkaroon talaga ng experience na may turo nila na magaganda sa ano.
Ako naman, siguro, ang nakuha ko dun sa idea niya, hindi naman sa, nakukulangan siya. Talaga naman, na-realize niya, no? Ang siguro gusto niya ma-inspire pa yung mga professors natin sa academe para
lalo na sa countryside
to think out of the box, 'di ba? Kasi alam mo, yung minsan yung traditional okay lang yan kapag kapag gusto lang natin na to get by. Pero if you want to challenge the nation, tsaka to produce people who will be like him, mavericks, di ba? Kailangan talaga you think out of the box. And that's what I think yung gusto niyang iparating, lalo na sa academe, no? Tsaka sa gobyerno, para pondohan yung mga ganitong klase ng programa.
Ako sa napansin ko, nag-aaral ako. Kung ano yung tinuro nung last year,
kunyari, ganun pa rin ba?
Ganun pa rin. Parang kukunin mo lang yung notebook nung mga students niya last year. Parehong-pareho, ma'am, binabasa kong gano'n. Pag ito, tatanong to, ganito. Parehong-pareho. Ewan ko lang ngayon kung nag-improve na ba or ganun pa rin ng mga style ng mga professors.
Malungkot nga kasi
pagka ganun na mangyayari, 5 years from now, ganun pa rin ang tinuturo.
Yung experience ko naman dyan, may mga professors na, alam mo yun, magkokopya sila ng libro ng other researchers, tapos yun ang ituturo nila. Hindi nga kino-quote minsan magre-reprint sila ng halimbawa i-disorganize lang yung yung content. Tapos same content siya, pero ang lalagay ng author yung professor. Makakabili ka lang ng book na yon doon sa university na yon o doon sa professor na yon.
Siguro,
parang stagnant yung
siguro
learning pag ganun
Kaya siguro ganun, yung mga professors natin. Karamihan ng magagaling na professors, nakaalis na. Kulang yung sweldo Diba? Kung pasweldo mo ba naman ng isang semester yan na mga 1 milyon, palagay ko.
Marami pa rin mga magagaling na professor. Yung nga lang, hindi masyado na-acknowledge. At saka, walang suporta. Alam mo, sa bansa natin, pag
mas
hindi...
napupunta sa mga politician
Hindi, tawag dito yung they have the wrong priorities, di ba? Ayun.
Ikaw, Belvin, dami mo na nako-cover ng mga events, di ba, sa gobyerno. Pero nakikita mo minsan na bad dito nilalagay yung pondo.
Buti nga ganun. Yung iba wala nga napupuntahan kunwari may project lang, pero nangyayari, sa kanilang mga bulsa na pupunta. Di ba? Ganun nangyayari.
Naku, buti na lang napunta sa government ang usapan nyo kasi kanina sapol na sapol. Kahit ako hindi ganon na teacher, no? Pero
Alam ko, ma'am, tinatamaan ka. Kaya bumubelo ako ng konti. Sabi ko, baka tinatamaan, baka na-offend. Pero hindi naman.
Hindi naman. Actually, hindi.
Ma'am, sabi ko naman in general. Diba?
Yeah,
Which is,
alam
mo, yun ang katotohanan. Masakit talaga.
Totoo.
Pero totoo. Kaya minsan,
sad but true.
Sa university.
Yeah, alam ko yan. Kaya nga ako ay talaga yung teacher na may passion na marami pang pwedeng magawa. No?
Minsan may mga ideas ka na magaganda pero ayaw ng mga co-teachers mo kasi matrabaho.
Yeah.
Hindi, in general yan, in general. Narinig ko rin sa ibang professors na dapat baguhin natin. Sasabihin na bang professors, babaguhin mo na naman, dagdag trabaho yan. Nakakapagod.
Nag-work naman yung dati, bakit babaguhin mo? So anyway, yung about the lecture, siguro kung standard naman, halimbawa, math or board exam, talagang malamang pare-parehas rin yung references. Anyway, so next week malamang Alvin and Ellison. So marami tayong mga teachers na tatawagin din para maintindihan natin sila, no? Sila
na may igisa natin, di ba?
Oo, tingnan natin ano ba ang response.
Yung bola kasi ngayon, ma'am. Yung bola kasi ngayon nasa mga professors. Sinahamon kayo ni Dado.
Oo nga.
Ginagawa ko to, umiikot ako sa mga probinsya, bumabalik ako sa Pilipinas, gastos ko to. Kaya sinabi nahamon niya, gawin niyo itong ginagawa ko para maramdaman niyo.
Maintindihan nyo.
Sabi niya, hanggat buhay ako. Di ba? At alam ko, hindi maubos yung pera niya. Hanggat buhay ako, gagawin ko ito.
Grabe.
Ang tanong ngayon, sa mga professors, tinatablan ba sila para gawin nila yung dapat nilang gawin?
Nako, grabe. Alam mo, di pa rin ako makaget over dun sa interview.
Hindi, challenge sa inyo, ma'am.
Yes, na-challenge.
Sa lahat.
Na-challenge talaga ako.
Sana itong, yung may record natin, tos, ipakinig mo to sa lahat ng professors, na ito yung hinihingi, Mr. Dado Banatao, na dapat hindi naman niya to gawin. Papil na natin to tayo yung guro di ba? Saka sana yung gobyerno dapat, yung ano pa ba, yung private citizen ba yung gagawa ng di ba? Imbis na gobyerno dapat, sa academe, ano ba yung dapat?
Yeah.
Kaya yun yung siguro pumasok ng gobyerno para sa politics para hindi na rin maging magulo.
Then, sabi nung aking brother, yung brother ko nag-serve sa government of Robredo. Doon lang siya nag-serve and Rocco to Robredo. After noon, nag-stop na siya as business planning and development head ng Naga. Sabi ko, trinay ko kasi nagka-usap-usap kami kagabi. What if kuya pumasok ako ng Congress? Kwentuhan lang na, nako, magulo ang gobyerno. Kung hindi mo yan, kung ang pamilya mo naman talaga ay wala sa politika, huwag mong papasukin yun. Yun ang magulo daw. Basta ganon.
Marami ka makakalaban dyan.
Yeah. Wag na lang. Wag. So, yun din ang sabi nga ni Dado, no? So, from the point of view ng kabataan, no?
Yeah,
so,
sige. Miko, at least ikaw, we are proud na kahit papano, nagsisimula ka magnegosyo, di ba?
Oo.
Is that your full-time job ngayon?
Yes.
Talagang kinarir mo na yan,
oo, talagang pero, I have to focus. Kaya yung sabi rin ni Mr. Dado, you have to die first before you give up.
So
yung words of courage
kamusta naman yung revenues? Okay naman?
Okay naman siya, sir.
Oh.
Like every month naman, dumadami yung tao. So, in return, dumadami
waterless di ba?
Waterless.
Paano ba naging waterless siya? Sige.
Waterless siya, sir. Kasi, actually, it's not really waterless. Kasi, chemical solution siya It's a water chemical solution.
Okay.
The term lang waterless kasi unlike the traditional na car wash natin na yung may compressor, may spray.
Paano mo lilinisin yung gulong, yung tapalodo?
Yes, sir. Spray lang din.
Spray lang.
Like what we do, we spray onto the car, tapos punas lang.
How many minutes?
Actually, it's faster, sir, than the traditional car wash.
Mga normally,
30 to 45 minutes.
35. And how much?
Hindi naman ganun kataas sa regular car wash.
For example, meron akong BMW. Palagin na natin.
Kasi BMW sedan siguro usually mga 150 yan.
150.
Hindi naman siya ganun like talagang mataas.
Yung cleaning na sinasabi, car wash, external lang talaga. Hindi
may kasama loob yun, sir.
Kasama yung loob.
Yung
detailed ba? Hindi naman.
May
detailing, do you do detailing?
Not yet, sir. Kasi kung detailing, medyo marami ng gamit doon madugo na yan. It will take one whole day.
Ano naman comment ng mami mo? Parents mo, tayo ka ng negosyo.
Well, sa kanya naman, sir,
supportive naman.
Supportive naman siya kasi ever since, alam niya naman may ligaw sa sasakyan.
Ganun.
So, alam niya naman yung passion ko is sasakyan talaga. So, he's very supportive, 100% all the way.
Saan mo natutunan yung waterless car wash? Ano yan? Na research mo ba? Nakita mo?
Yes, sir. It's a trend right now I've been using it sa United States, Australia, and Europe. Kasi doon may water shortage, sir.
Okay.
So, in-envision ko yun, in time, maybe in the Philippines, di pa natin naisip. Baka mamaya magka-water shortage.
Are you the one, mixing the chemicals or?
Yes.
Ikaw mismo?
But the chemical itself, imported din siya. It's from the USA. But I believe we have local products as well. May gumagawa na rin ng ganun.
So far, makakabuhay na ba ng pamilya?
Pwede naman, sir. Pwede na.
Mag-i-invest ako sa kanya.
Maganda nga yan, ha?
How many calls do you receive?
How
many calls do you receive within a day?
Within a day, sir, let's say, let's say by the cars na lang. Right now, an average of 5 to 6 cars on a weekday and more on a weekend.
Pwede na, di ba? How many assistant do you have or mga
staff?
Mga staff.
Right now, sir, I have 3.
3. Okay.
Pwede na.
Pwede na.
So, as a startup, the words from Sir Dado, yun nga, never give up. Although, there are times that talaga, syempre, may bigat, mahirap, but just never give up lang.
Saka yan kailangan mo talaga yan talaga kailangan maglinis ng kotse.
Yes.
At least meron ka laging market.
Yes, the demand is always there.
Sobrang dami ng sasakyan.
Siguro, if you can talk with to the president of a certain subdivision, di ba?
Yes, actually that's what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Kausapin mo, package deal, di ba? O ito yung discount pagka yung member ng association nyo. Di ba? Kaya we can give the terms, nasa inyo na lang magbabayad. Tapos, monthly na lang namin sisingilin. Pwede kayong, you can have a percentage para doon sa pondo nyo. Parang gano'n, di ba? Dapat medyo...
Yes, sir. Actually, yung target ko kasi, sir, is the
condominiums. Huwag ka lang mahiya, kapal na may mukha mo. Kahit di mo kilala, hanapin mo yung presidente ng bawat subdivision, di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi yung target ko, sir, is condo Kasi condo, sir, if you're familiar with the condo, sa basement, bawal ka maglinis ng kotse. So, kahit sa condominium dito, I think sa Manila, bawal ka magkalat, magdumi. Kasi basement yun, it's a public area. So, in my waterless car wash, since wala siyang water, hindi siya magkakalat.
Galing yan, di ba? Sapagka dumating mga 10 years from now, may sarili ka ng paupa ng kondo, mga 3 palabas, 5 palabas. Sabihin mong gano'n, katas lang ng car wash, ng mobile car wash, di ba?
Yes,
yun, di ba? And we hope na maging successful ka pa dyan. And never give up, sabi nga ni Dado, di ba?
Okay.
May recorded stream naman to, pakinggan mo lahat. Ako pakinggan ko lahat.
Yes,
oo nga.
Isusulat ko talaga yung
sinabi nila.
That's why I even wrote down his name.
Di ba, ni Dado, para ma-review ko kung ano yung talagang
sinabi niya.
Kasi kung ano yung sinabi, yun talaga nasa puso niya, ma'am.
Yeah,
yun
talaga,
kasi wala akong pinadala sa kanya mga questions.
Wala.
Di ba? Talagang
ganito naman tayo dito.
Impromptu para at least hindi siya talagang paghandaan niya yung questions, di ba?
Yes.
Okay. Ang bilis ng oras at maraming uling salamat, Mr. Dado Banataw at kay Emil na tap nyo. Binigyan nyo kami ng pagkakataon na ma-interview. Kahit napaka-busy, alam ko.
Thank you.
Actually, nasa kalagitnaan siya ng workshop.
Oo.
Hinatak lang natin siya, nagsasalita siya.
Naku,
pero pinagbigyan tayo. Huminto yung workshop dahil sa atin.
Oo.
Ewan ko gaano karaming mga professors, students, entrepreneurs yun nandun. Hinatak natin at pinagbigyan tayo. Maraming uli. Salamat po, Mr.
Sa'yo,
Dado.
Dado.
At maraming salamat din kina Joji and Earl, di ba?
Sa questions
alam ko napaka-busy nila pero nakita nila yung guest natin, talagang gumawa sila ng paraan para mag-isip at magtanong.
Oo, sa dinami-dami nilang pwedeng itanong, eto na yung the best questions na gusto nilang marinig from Dado, no?
Okay, maraming salamat.
Ay, nako.
Okay,
sige, paalam na tayo. Ikaw,
Nico.
Sige.
Si Nico muna.
Thank you po for having us, mga mga listeners po. Mga listeners po, if you're also from the Taguig area, you could find us on Facebook. www.Facebook qmobilecarwash.com and in Instagram also qmobilecarwash.com.
Siya si Mikio Lizardo. Mikio Lizardo. Ayan, so sabi ko nga hindi pa ako maka-get over pero magsusulat po kami regarding this. So we will for sure po ang amin naman pong challenge ay yung challenge na binigay sa atin ni Dado, gagawin po namin yun. Magre-review po kami, mag-overhaul po kami ng aming mga programa.
Yeah. Isang hamon yan, ma'am. Isang hamon.
Yes!
Okay. Hanggang sa susunod po na Sabado, alas 10 hanggang alas 11 po ng umaga, dito po sa Radio Inquirer ang programang Bigatin. Oras po natin, 5 minuto makalipas ang alas 11 ng umaga.
Ito ang Radyo Inquirer 990 AM. Ang programang hatid ay tulong at pag-asa.
Huwag na kayo masyado mag-aalala at nandito na po sa kaalaman niya ng Bantay OCW, tutulungan po namin kayo.
Tumpak na impormasyon sa mga usaping pag-abroad.
Sa bahagi naman po ng ahensya, kung hindi sila tutugon dito sa mga pananagutan nila, uobligahin pa rin sila ng ating POEA.
Naglilingkod sa mga OFW at kanilang mga kamag-anak saan man sa mundo.
Kahit umuwi na po kayo ng Nueva Ecija ngayon, itatawag po namin sa inyo kaagad yung magiging usapan sa ating Philippine Embassy sa Bahrain at nang masaklolohan po itong inyong pamangkin.
KBP at Gawad Tangla